Guys, if you're ever feeling stuck, it's not the end. Just know it's not the end. I spent 5 years at a warehouse job that I did not like. I felt like I was at a dead end. I wasn't going anywhere. And I made the decision to leave. Maybe 3 years a little too late because I should have left after year 2, but I still made the change. So if you're in a situation where you don't enjoy your job, you feel like it's dead end, just make the choice to leave. There's certain things you need to notice that can lead to the decision. And there's certain things that you have to have in place, right? So for starters, obviously you want to have something lined up. If that's your main source of income, you want to make sure you have something on the side, right? Maybe a gig app, another job lined up. Everyone should know that, right? Don't ever leave a place of employment if you don't have anything lined up, because you're just setting yourself up for failure, right? If you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. So have something lined up. If you just, like I said, if you don't like your job, just leave, right? We only have so much time on this earth. There's no, what's the point of staying at a job? Yeah, it could be stable, but staying at a job that you hate makes you miserable. There's no point. So, all right? So just find something else. That's not the only job. I know from when I was at the warehouse, I felt like that was the only job in the world. I'm like, I was always thinking to myself, like, damn, I don't know if I can find something else. I don't know if I can get another job, like, or get another job as good paying as where I am at the moment, right? And this was a couple years back, right? So I have some time to kind of look back on it and kind of, say like, yeah, I should have left a long time ago. I am grateful for that place because every year I qualified for, or every 6 months actually, I qualified for a dollar bonus per hour. And while that's cool, it was capped at a certain level. So once you got to a certain level, they would cap you at that. So in this case, it was capped at $22 an hour, I believe. So the owner of the company was not paying more than $22 an hour for that position. So I found myself kind of stuck. I'm like, damn, like I kind of reached the ceiling already. What's next, right? What's next? And at that time, I already did the fitness thing. I used to be a personal trainer, a fitness coach. I already did all that. So my passion, which I already did that, I already accomplished that. I didn't want to go back into that anymore. So when I was at that warehouse job, I felt like that was it. I'm like, what else can I get into? Like I don't have a passion that I care about, right? But then I started thinking a little bit more deeper. I started asking more questions, right? Like what actually interests me, right? And that's what you should ask yourself. What actually interests you? What's something that you can see yourself doing that you wouldn't mind going into work for, right? Because there's people out here that say, oh, like, I love my job. I do it for free. No one's gonna do their job for free. That's a lie. If anyone says that, that's a lie. So in my case, I try to figure out what's gonna be that thing. What's that thing that I'm gonna be, that I'm passionate about? And I started thinking, I'm like, wait, cybersecurity sounds about right. I hear about it all the time on the news, a bunch of these commercials popping up. And at that time, I didn't go into it yet, but I was doing research. I was trying to find a way to get my degree without going back to school. So I did these courses to try to learn how to code, to tell me the ins and outs of computers, just the basic stuff, right? Because at that time, I didn't know anything. Fast forward a couple years later to present time, I am about 4 months away from graduating with my bachelor's in cybersecurity. So I think I made the right decision. So that's just all to say that it's possible to change things, right? You might feel like you're stuck. You might feel like you're at the end of the rope. But there's always another avenue. Just like this area that I'm in, it feels like it's endless, right? There's always another way. I thought I was stuck at that warehouse job for years and years. And yeah, I stood a little longer than I should have, but eventually I was able to figure out and get the courage to leave. Because when you're at a place so long, you kind of get comfortable. You kind of get almost complacent. You get scared of making a possible move, but you just have to make that move. That's all you have to do. Once you make that move, you won't regret it. You have the potential to earn even more leaving the job. If a job is capping you at a certain amount, you have an opportunity to increase, right? To go further than what you were before. But by staying at a place that you're not happy at, or that you feel like you're stuck at, like you're only doing yourself wrong. Honestly, you're doing yourself wrong because you're not improving as a person. Every year you should always strive to do better. And I know this sounds cliche and corny and shit. I don't even know if I can swear. But I know it sounds cliche, but you should always look to improve every single year. Add something to yourself that's gonna give you more value in the eyes of an employer, right? Whether it's getting a certification, getting a degree, getting something that's gonna add value to yourself, right? So if I wanted to stay at the warehouse, which there was no more room to grow, it was a smaller company. If it was a different company, then maybe, but again, it wasn't a passion of mine. I didn't really care about the warehouse stuff. So let's say I cared about it, I would get as many certifications that I could when it came to forklifts, learning whatever industry it was that I'm going into. Honestly, don't know what else. My personal opinion, if you're watching this right now and you work at a warehouse, that should just be a temporary thing. It shouldn't be your long-term plan. Because think about it, you're gonna keep working until your body just gives up on you. Like, think about it. You're gonna wanna be doing warehouse work at 20 years from now, whatever age you are. Add 20 years to that. You're gonna be wanting working at the same place? You think your body's gonna be able to handle it? You think your mind's gonna be able to handle that same type of work? The same boring, physically demanding type of work? And yeah, people watching this might say, "Oh, well, it's a man's job, you gotta want to get hurt and sweat." And I'm like, no, man, doesn't make any sense. When I used to work at the flooring distribution center, I see these dudes in their 60s, 70s still doing flooring jobs. And yes, some of them did it because they still loved it, but most of them did it because they still had bills to pay, right? And a lot of them would always walk around with damaged hips, damaged knees, more than someone who's at their age would normally be that, right? So when a 60-year-old who's in good health, right, compared to these 60-year-olds that I met in flooring, drastic difference. These guys beat themselves up for what they did for work. And yeah, again, some of them enjoyed it, but the majority of it was regret. That's all I heard from these guys. They wish they kind of took a different path, still stayed in the same field, but a different path. Because with flooring in particular, a lot of these guys would use outdated, back then, they do manual labor. It wasn't automatic machines, sanding machines, stuff like that. They didn't have the automatic guns, the nail guns. So a lot of these guys would literally be on their knees with their knees flexed. And over time, that's just gonna break down your knee. So if you're on your knees just nailing down flooring for year after year after year, or hammering down, yeah, you'd be hammering it down because the nail guns wouldn't come into play for, I don't even know. I don't know too much about that stuff, but I know that a lot of those guys too are still stuck in their old ways. A lot of new equipment will come out and they still want to do it the old school way, hammering, doing everything themselves, not even outsourcing their work. And to me, that's not worth it, right? Something like flooring, you have to have a passion for that kind of stuff. But no matter what warehouse type job that you work at, it's just not worth it. Those types of jobs are meant to be entry entry-level jobs, and that's it, right? Some companies do have stuff in place where you can move up, yeah, but the majority of people that get into the warehouse industry, if that's even an industry, and yes, I know it touches a couple industries, there's a bunch of different types of warehouses, but most of those are just meant to be entry-level stuff, like entry-level type jobs. But again, you're not stuck. So if you feel like you're stuck, try to figure more about yourself, right? You know yourself more than anyone else in the world. Figure out what interests you. Figure out what you can improve about yourself. Like really ask yourself, what can you improve upon? And once you figure that out, you'll find an avenue to leave the job that you're unhappy with. That's the honest truth. That's literally what I had to do with myself. I literally had to ask myself, what is it about me that I can improve? As corny as that sounds, like you gotta try to improve yourself and try to upgrade yourself. That's the only way to move forward. Because if not, you're gonna eventually reach a cap at your job. You're gonna eventually not be able to move up. Unless you know somebody, you're not gonna be able to move up. And again, if you've heard that term, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's how you move up in that industry. And when it comes to warehouse work, that's literally all it is. You have to know someone or be a friend of someone or be a family member of somebody to reach the top. The place that I was working at, all these people were related in some way. Not that I really wanted to stay at that job long term, and by long term I mean 10 plus years, 15 plus years. But the thing was, like, I can only reach a certain level, and if it's not making me happy, this is my thing. If it's not making me happy, and it's not paying what I want to be at, there's really no reason to stay, right? Because I stayed at that flooring place for 5 years instead of 2, now I know never to stay at a job that I don't enjoy or that's not paying well. If one of those is too much, then I got a plan to get out. That's me. Because it's just gonna sound really corny, but your happiness is not worth that. Your happiness is not worth going into a job you constantly hate, that you hate being there, that's mentally draining, literally soul sucking, right? Not worth it. There's always something else that's out there that's better, and a lot of you guys watching will qualify for jobs that you don't even know about. Because I was a manager at the flooring distribution center, but I didn't think I could get another manager job. But right after that job, I increased my income by 40%, and was a manager at a clothing warehouse. I don't want to say the name of the company, but the lady that hired me owned a clothing company, and it was also a smaller company, but that one was a little closer to home. It paid more. I was literally managing the entire warehouse. I was happy at that job. Now, for those who know, at that job, I eventually ended up leaving just because of just some things about her treating other employees, and if you guys know, watch that video about the printer situation, then you guys know. And they weren't happy with me trying to improve myself. So yes, I was making more money. I was happier at that job, but eventually I reached a block. I personally reached a block, right? Because I wanted to pursue my bachelor's degree, I started getting different vibes from this lady. Cause she even said outright, like, no, like, you're gonna make more money working here at this warehouse. You're not gonna be able to get a degree that pays more than this. And anytime someone says something that either they don't believe I can do something, or I'm always trying to prove people wrong. That's my thing. And you're probably the same if you're watching this. Like, If someone tells you that you can't do something, you're gonna go above and beyond to prove that person wrong that you can do it. Right? We're in February right now, February 1st. In May, I'm about to graduate my bachelor's. So that wasn't the main motivation, but right there, that just literally, like, in my head, I'm shutting her up. In my head, I'm shutting her up. Because she's like, oh, you're not gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to do a degree. You're not gonna be able to make more money with the degree. Like, who are you to tell me that, you know? And maybe you haven't had someone at your job tell you that, or maybe everything's perfect. But the thing is, there's gonna be people out there that doubt you. And you gotta prove them wrong. Like, the thing is too, it's like people are so easy to say things when it's not actually directly affecting them, right? In her head, she could easily replace that position. So by telling someone, oh, you're not gonna do better if you do this or that, like, it's not really affecting them when that person leaves, right? But it's like, you're living your own life. Screw what anyone else says. Upgrade yourself. And if that bothers somebody, then so be it. But you're literally improving yourself. There's literally nothing that someone can say that can justify them going against that. You should always be looking to improve yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. So, again, if you're at a place that you're not happy at, right? You don't feel like you're growing, you don't feel like you're upgrading, figure out that one thing that you love, that you're passionate about, or that interests you, and try to pursue that. ChatGPT it. You can literally go into ChatGPT and ask it these questions. I'm interested in this, I'm passionate about this. What would be a good career path? Give me an option, 10 options of possible career paths based off my interests. And whatever ChatGPT tells you, go into that. Or even you can ask ChatGPT, go into each of these options that you just gave me. You can use ChatGPT for a lot of things. And if you're feeling stuck, you can literally ask it to help you get unstuck, to help you figure out what you can pursue based on your passions, your interests, all that. So, if you think you're stuck, you're really not. You just don't know what avenue to go into. But hopefully you guys can relate to this video. I'm gonna wrap it up now. It's about getting 18 minutes, but feel free to check out my other videos, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one.